interests me about this main event is, well, there's two things. Firstly, I can't decide if they're sort of setting Chris Weidman up and sort of pushing him too far too fast, or if really I sort of go towards Weidman winning. You know, Mark Munoz has been around a long time, but I don't see many calibers on his record. I see Demian Mayer, I see Chris Lieben, neither of which were stoppages in the sense of a referee call. There was a corner stoppage with Chris Lieben, and there's Yushin Okami, who he lost a split decision to. I don't know if that is actually going to be enough to beat somebody like Weidman, and the reason that is, his twad has nothing to do with the fact that he is in league with Matt Serra. Absolutely nothing at all, because I wouldn't usually see that as an association and think, oh my god, he's going to win. But he does have a habit of finishing, for a start, and he's much, I don't know, he's just very, very athletic, very fast. I might go out on a limb here. He's good at submissions, but Mark Munoz has never been submitted. Do I dare go out on a limb? It's not a very sensible thing to do, but as it's the main event, why not? And let me go for a bar submission in the second there. Chris Weidman winning. I think if he did do that and make history sort of thing, then people would start to really see him as somebody who's sort of like exciting, up and coming, which they probably already do, but actually see, that he is a standout prospect. Unfortunately, it's middleweight, so, you know, hasn't got much of a hope, has he, with the people at the top? But there we are, you never know. I feel a little bit of criticism coming on with this next prediction, and that's mainly because I don't actually know too much about the organisation called Shuto. But here we go. So we've got somebody called Izzy Tamara, and he's fighting Rafael Asuncio. Now, Rafael Asuncio, reasonably okay, but doesn't do well with high-level calibers. I don't think that Tamara is one of them. He does have an exceptional past in terms of having performed quite a few times in Shuto, but he generally tends to be a decision man. Now, I don't know if some people are going to say, oh my god, getting a decision in Shuto is so difficult that you just can't base your decision on the fact, you know, on your prediction on the fact that you've seen this guy with loads of decisions on his record, because it's almost impossible to get a decision in Shuto. I don't know if they're going to say that. Frankly, I don't care. But the one big thing here that makes this fight slightly interesting is the fact that he does have a win in his last fight, and it was against Taekwon Zhang, and it was a knockout as well. Having said that, quite a big Rafael Asuncio supporter, do think that he will probably win this one. Submission, well, dare I say submission specialist? I don't know. No, probably. I don't know. No, I think I'll play it safe and go for decision. Marcelo Guimaraes. He is fighting Daniel Stitigen. Now, the other guy's on his debut. I'm going to go for Dan Stitigen here. I might go for bar submission in the second. To Rafael Natal and Andrew Craig. Andrew Craig I don't remember, and the reason for that is that he had his debut in that little Markenfield move blackout of a couple of events in early March that I didn't manage to have any input or see or anything like that. Rafael Natal's probably the favourite, and since I've already gone out on a limb a couple of times, I suppose I ought to not this time. So I shall go for Rafael Natal decision here. And here's the issue. This is Chris Cariaso, who is usually a bantamweight, so he's moving down which means that he's probably going to be much, much bigger. That does give Josh Ferguson a speed advantage, presumably, but they are so small, these it's like the God particles, isn't it? I mean, they're by the time you get, electrons are fast enough. When you get to God particles, they probably move even faster. But it's not like he's making such a big transition down that the speed should be different. Whereas I think the size could be something that isn't going to tip in Josh Ferguson's favour. I go for Chris Cariaso. He is in fact on a 2-fight win streak, and his level of calibre is high anyway. Will Campuzano, Michael McDonald, Takaya Mizugaki, for example. Now, he hasn't beaten all of them, but he's fought all of them. He's also a decision man, so I'm going to go for a Chris Cariaso decision. I don't know. I think they are feeding Alex Caceres here. They think that he's going to win this one, but I can't decide why. Maybe because out of his 6 wins, half of them are submission, but he's also lost by submission 4 times. I'm going to go for a Damasio Page decision. Anthony Njokuani I find fascinating to watch. I do think he's good. However, I think the difference here will come down to calibre face. If we look at Rafael dos Anjos, he has fought a lot higher calibre. He hasn't beaten them all. Tyson Griffin, Gleason Tibau and Clay Guida, for example, he has fought but not beaten. But he has also fought George Sotiropoulos and Terry Eatim and done well. Anthony Njokuani was big in WEC. At least he was sort of for a little bit. I think he had a rough spell in WEC as well. Yes. Shane Roller. He did well in WEC, but towards the end was losing that a little bit. He's losing to lesser calibers in the UFC, although he's coming off a win. I don't know. Also, those happen to be decisions. Decision. I think I'm going to go for Rafael dos Anjos here. And I think I'm going to go... I might even go for submission. I'll go for a bar submission in the 3rd. Ah, yes! Vaughan Lee. Vaughan Lee and I have seen each other twice. And this was Cage Gladiators. He fought twice in Cage Gladiators before that collapsed. And he lost both times. But I do remember him. Now, since then, he's come on quite a way, and he has done very well, in fact. He beat Yamamoto by submission. Can you believe it? He also lost to Chris Cariaso, but it was a decision and it was split. So he's moved up in the world. He's fighting TJ Dillashaw. TJ Dillashaw, possibly better record, 5-1 to 12-7. His only losses so far are by knockout. So I am going to predict here that Vaughan Lee will make history and be the first person to submit him with an armbar in the 2nd. Now, considering that this event is in the US, there's actually quite a lot of sort of British stroke Europeans on the card. At least this is the 2nd one I've encountered, which is quite a lot outside of, well, in America, when they're holding American cards. Unfortunately, I don't predict this one as having a happy ending. It's unfortunate because I do like and do follow Carlos Vermola with some interest. 9-2 is his record, and he is a submission specialist. I've used the phrase again. He's fighting... This is a ground war. Both of them are very good at submissions. Unfortunately, Francis Carmont may well be much, much better. He has a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fight win streak. He's not yet got to the stage where he's decision after decision after decision that some of them do when they move into the UFC. I see this as a possibility, a possible candidate for Fight of the Night. I hasten to add that Francis Carmont is also European, so there we are. I think Francis Carmont will win this one. I will go for a bar submission in the third. This might backfire on the UFC here. The UFC have put Aaron Simpson against Kenny Robertson. Kenny Robertson has a record of 11-1. This is his debut. And a quick scan thinks, his one loss was to Mike Pierce. So, he's not going to be good at fighting in the UFC. In fact, that was a UFC debut, and he was expelled right away. They're obviously bringing him back, and one presumes just to, I don't know. Let's see. His last win was a KO by spinning back fist. But we've seen, haven't we, how things like that can backfire if you're Chael Sonnen. And that was against Lucio Linhares. Now, he has fought... The point is that he has fought names. John Colossi, Igor Almeida, Levon Maynard, for example. And he's won over everybody apart from Mike Pierce. I actually think that he might win here. I think... What am I going to say? I will go for... First, I want to make it very clear that I like the Executioner. It never fails to make me laugh, that. And he's back in the UFC. His last stint was not so good. Win-win, loss-loss, win, loss-loss. And that was the end of it. But after a single win, they have brought him back. His record, 14-7. To James Tahuna, 14-5. So there's not a lot in it. However, you remember when I said before that there was a ground war? Well, this is the alternative. This is two strikers, and James Tahuna is doing very, very well. Win, 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 loss, win, win is his recent record. And all the wins were by knockout. Doesn't do so well with submissions, but guess what? Joey Beltran hasn't been known for doing that particularly, and he is fighting... he's beaten people like Igor Podradzic. I'm afraid I don't think this is going to end too well for Joey Beltran, which is a shame. I do hope they keep him and give him another chance. I'm going to go for James Tahuna. I'll go for TKO in the second.